King Charles criticized for taking a 75-minute flight after his speech on global warming. King Charles and Queen Camilla are being criticized for taking a Paris-Bordeaux flight, as France bans flights of less than 2 hours and 30 minutes for environmental reasons. King Charles III and his wife Queen Camilla arrive at Bordeaux-Mérignac airport on the third day of their state visit to France on September 22, 2023 in Bordeaux, southwest France. Welcome to Royal Pancakes. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell, so you don't miss any updates about the British royal family. Charles and Camilla were scolded for taking a short flight from Paris to Bordeaux. King Charles and Queen Camilla have been criticized for making the short Paris-Bordeaux plane trip today, despite their sermons on the need to reduce carbon emissions to combat global warming. The 360-mile journey between Paris and Bordeaux is no longer permitted on Air France after the French government banned domestic flights of less than 2 hours and 30 minutes for environmental reasons. Travelers can make the journey in just over 2 hours on a direct high-speed TGV train, but it appears the monarch was not keen on the idea, reports express. Charles and Camilla landed in Bordeaux this afternoon, drawing heavy criticism from environmental campaigners and the French press over their decision to fly from the capital to the southwestern city, with flight time approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. This leak may seem surprising for a king who has made the environment his priority, writes an editorial in the regional newspaper La Dépêche. King Charles made history with his speech on Thursday when he discussed global challenges. In Bordeaux, his visit will focus on ecology, with a visit to an experimental forest and an organic vineyard, as well as a meeting with the personnel mobilized to deal with the forest fires in Gironde in the summer of 2022. Meghan and Harry were criticized for taking 7 international flights in just 2 weeks. Green MP Sandra Riggle added that it was very disappointing to see the royals traveling by plane for such a short trip, especially after Charles gave an emotional speech on saving the planet to the Senate on Thursday from Paris. The 74-year-old monarch told the upper house of the French Parliament that Britain and France must strive together to protect the world from our most existential challenge of all, global warming. His speech came a day after Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced that Britain would deliver on some of its key commitments to net zero emissions, including postponing a ban on the sale of petrol and diesel cars until 2035. In contrast, French President Emmanuel Macron's government has just successfully introduced new legislation that bans air transport services with a journey of less than 2 hours and 30 minutes for which there is a replaceable rail connection. Charles and Camilla also arrived at Paris-Orly Airport on Wednesday by private plane, despite other royals often using trains to reach the French capital. Even more critical of the king is the Green Channel reporter, which in an editorial states, 2 plane trips for a state visit that will last 3 days. The ecological results of Charles III's trip to France are not rosy. During her last state visit in 2014, her mother Elizabeth II visited the Eurostar. A study shows that the Paris-Bordeaux journey is 139 times less polluting by train than by plane. The organizers of the state visit also claimed that Charles would have preferred to travel by train, but that this was not possible for safety reasons. British officials accused French media of leaking details about the couple's travel plans, which meant other elements of the visit also had to be changed. The prospect of a train trip was too much for French officials, who were already nervous about the visit after it was postponed from March due to violent protests against President Macron's pension reform. A source at the French Interior Ministry said, it would have been necessary to secure every bridge on the line and every station between Paris and Bordeaux. It would have been very difficult one day when Pope Marseille visited and thousands of rugby fans are intended for the World Championship in the country, added the source. However, there was another element when the King and the Queen planned to return to Scotland after visiting the state and flying directly from Bordeaux to the end of his official state visit.